Once we were there at GEC, we could see the progression. We could see what a manager is. Infosys make it look sexy. Infosys made programming as a glamorous thing. So they were trying to hire people from all over the world. Bristlecone is a partner with SAP. 2008, that is where I had an opportunity from IBM. Meaning, IBM said, boss, I'm not sponsoring your visa. You are coming at your own risk. My boss moved from IBM to HCL Axon. So my boss took me with him. It's a 100-year-old company. I just cannot go and say change your inventory policies or accounting policies because it's hurting your working capital. Amazon, again, unfortunately, we got work for reduction. That was an unfortunate event, but I would have loved continuing on Amazon. It's a beautiful company. Once we were there at GEC, we could see the progression. We could see what a manager is. And then we were able to discern, there are two things. One is a subject matter expertise, and the second one is how to hone the subject matter and turn things around. Because we used to see the general managers, the CEOs.
Which company was it, Pillutla?
Oh, this was GEC Alstom. It's a heavy electrical company. I think these days it goes by Alstom through many mergers and acquisitions. But oh my God, this was like an honor to work for that company. This is a company that makes locomotives, heavy electrical engineering stuff, turbines, you name it. In fact, Europe is inundated with that. Interestingly, GEC's CEO Ramesh Daga, his daughter is Apna senior, Chandrika Daga, super senior, one of the DMLs and super senior. So yeah, I think I would say we did not have TikToks to influence, etc. We had people to influence us a lot more. Yes, and you are absolutely right. And Venu cracked IIM 1 year before. We studied together or prep together, initial prep, etc. Venu got IIM. I could not get IIM. I got into Infosys. So I quit GEC and I got into Infosys.
Infosys. I'm quite curious. Why did you apply? Are you a computer science engineer?
No, I'm an electrical engineer, but
Right.
Infosys at that time was there is an urge to programming, meaning we all through engineering we learn programming, right? So this is the company that gave what is it glamour to programming, in my opinion. I still remember we were
Yeah.
supposed to write we had given an algorithm, Gauss Seidel algorithm, and then we had to write a Fortran program on that. Oh my goodness, didn't even understand what we were doing, right? But then Infosys make it look sexy. Infosys made programming as a glamorous thing, right? And again, this is surprisingly 30 years ago. And then obviously there is charisma of Narayan Murthy.
How long did you stay back at Alstom?
Alstom was 2 years, Infosys 2 years, and then IIM Bangalore.
What about your summer internship placements and then the 25 years after that?
My summer internship was a big fraud.
Which company was it?
Bilimoria. Funniest thing
Okay.
was the project I was supposed to do was go do some research, figure out what are the services people are willing to pay and get. But my summer was fabulous. I had a blast because I used to go run a survey, hang around MG Road, etc. But I think what was most exciting to me was going to Germany post campus. So three of us, Saroj, Ashish, and myself. Right. We were these outliers. I don't know if you still remember this Bristlecone company, which was Kiran Shastri, who was our alumni. He just happened to be having vacation in Bangalore during February. He was a president. He was the Koti of his batch, I think 94 batch or something like that. So he wanted to hire. Obviously, he couldn't get a seat. So, but I think our place com said,
He couldn't get a day one, day two in the
not day
placement
one, day
season.
two. He
Is that
wouldn't
what
get
you're
any
saying?
slot because 6 months ahead of time, all those slots get booked. No, all the way up to day 5. But then, given his he being alumni and he being a president in his batch, etc., they gave him a room saying, "You sit. Okay, we have nothing to do. If people want to join you, it is at their chance and their risk. We have nothing to do because we just extend your courtesy that you can be on campus." And in fact, the story is this Kiran Shastri, he picked up a phone. He called the first person on the list, which happened to be Ashish Ranjan, because his first name is AASHISH. So that's right on top. Talk about randomness in the universe, right? So he picked up the phone and said, Ashish, I want to hire some people because that's when Bristlecone was starting in Bay Area. They were just hiring. And he said, okay, I will pull up some people. So he called me, he called a few others. We landed up and we got an offer. Our starting location was Germany, Waldorf. There is a little town called Waldorf. So we were all part of SAP started what's called a Center of Excellence in Supply Chain. So they were trying to hire people from all over the world. Bristlecone is a partner with SAP, and SAP is a technology. It's an advanced planning technology. How it started, 2 साल में Germany में था, between Germany and India. Then I came to US, 2002 to 8, Houston, Texas.
And this was still with Bristlecone, or did you change your
Bristlecone,
jobs
still with
at
Bristlecone.
that?
I'm bound to this company because the company sponsors your H1. It took me close to 15 years to get my green card. When we come to US from India or any other country, you need a work visa, and the work visa needs a sponsorship. If employer decides not to sponsor, we lose that, and it's a sunk cost. I cannot risk changing jobs because a prospective employer will not sponsor that work visa. 2008, that is where I had an opportunity from IBM, meaning IBM said, boss, I'm not sponsoring your visa. You are coming at your own risk. But I no longer need because I crossed a milestone at that point in time. So I was with IBM for
Mhm.
a few more years. My boss moved from IBM to HCL Axon. So my boss took me with him. So to me, it was almost like a natural progression and sticking with my boss.
But were you doing the same job, what you were doing at Bristlecone and then at IBM? Was it the same job?
So I would say 70% is the same job in the sense at Bristlecone, I was still a subject matter contained in my little box and all that stuff. Meaning I was an expert in supply chain optimization, network optimization. That is what I am good at, and that is what I used to do. When I went to IBM, I did that, but I did a little more of program management. So that's where we started getting exposed to, hey, look, it is not just subject matter expertise that matters. It's not that pot of food that matters, but how do you sell it? I was with HCL for, I call this the binary movement. 8 years Bristlecone, 4 years IBM, 2 years HCL, and then 1 year after that. So 8 4 2 1 progression. And I can see that in my career easily. 2013, we had our first kid. I said, enough. US consulting is nice, but it is a little taxing in the sense, like probably anywhere. We used to be on the road from Monday morning, get back home probably Thursday night, right? You fundamentally are away from home. And IBM was a fabulous opportunity. I had two major clients out there. 2 years, in fact, literally, I was living in a hotel. I never even carried my clothes back and forth. So that's when I stopped consulting, started
Hmm.
my own freelancing here in New York. So that was good. But again, that's where, again, the stone gathered more and more momentum, and I could not stick at one place because after tasting consulting, anything else become monotonous, extremely monotonous. So, for example, I was at a company called Scholastic Books. Great company. Oh my God. Lovely company. Well, they print books for children. What else is not more gratifying than that? But then it just barely took about 6 7
Yeah.
months to figure out things go at such a slow pace that you become restless in your seat. Sometimes nothing happens. It's a 100-year-old company. I just cannot go and say change your inventory policies or accounting policies because it's hurting your working capital. So to sum up the journey, Meg, after HCL
Yeah.
started doing the end user roles or corporate roles, and that's where Scholastic is one, Facebook is one, Amazon is another one. Amazon, again, unfortunately, again, we got workforce reduction. That was an unfortunate event, but I would have loved continuing on Amazon. It's a beautiful company. So I went back to consulting, tried to see if we can re-establish there. But then again, came back to from consulting to mainstream.